Hi, I'm Annette. This morning's video is a series of hints and tips that I've learned over the past year. I've been a needle felter for about a year now and thought I'd share with you some of the things that I've figured out, maybe save you some money, or at least give you some new ideas. I really hope you enjoy this. Thank you. Let's start with some equipment. This little kit, minus these three pieces, and my pencil. Should have been a little better prepared. This kit is what I got when I ordered from Amazon. First thing I was going to buy, I had to have some tools. This is a multi-needle holder. You can put up to, 8 needles in this, and then you would stab large areas, maybe clouds in the sea, backgrounds, something like that. Then we have the single needle holders, which you probably are very aware of. I have 3 of those, and honestly, I use these inexpensive needles that I get from Amazon. I also get the kit from Amazon. The short needles are the finer ones, the medium needles are medium, and the tall needles are for heavier work. I have not used the fancy needles that are sold, so I just plainly don't know any better. The kit also comes with these little scissors, which are actually pretty good for clipping close when you want to get off the fuzzies and what have you. And it also comes with an awl. I highly recommend you use your awl to spread out your fibers and then come back and felt them. It'll actually save you a lot of needles. A lot of times you want to push things closer to an edge or the centers or what have you. Use your awl. That'll save you some money. And then the last thing that actually came in the kit, finger cots. There also was finger cots, but I don't care for those. They might be just what you need so you don't stab yourself. I also have this little bottle of lavender, which I purchased, and I put a couple of drops of this on most of my paintings because it keeps moths away. I do worry about moths. I have also added a pair of scissors, which I always need. This is a toothbrush. It happens to be a bamboo toothbrush, but it's so that I can spread the fibers however I want them and kind of smooth things down. And then this little dandy here is, it says it's a Clover tool. I believe it came to me in one of the packages of fiber, and it's a handy dandy little thing for cleaning off your mats or pieces of wool or whatever you use, instead of trying to pick that all off. There's not much on this one, but that's what this little tool is for, and I actually think if I didn't already have one, I would buy one. Okay, let's move on to mats. I use a number of different mats. This is a bag that I filled with 3 pounds of rice. It is kind of big, but I like working on larger pieces, and so I have more room and I don't need to put anything behind it. For finer, detailed kind of work, I have a Wool Buddy. They're very popular. Lots of people have Wool Buddies. My only problem with it is that it wears a dent in the center. The center gets really hard after lots of punches. So I purchased this one, which I also got on Amazon, and it is thin, very thin, but very dense. When you use a needle on it, if I could find one here, it doesn't go in very deeply. It certainly goes in enough to attach your piece, but you don't need anything else. As thin as this is, it's very, very dense. And we have the Wool Buddy. And I also have a brush. This was the first thing I bought, and honestly, I do not enjoy using the brush. It's too thin, too light. It doesn't want to hold the fiber as tightly as I want it held. Whichever one I use, I put a piece of it's an old piece of purchased craft felt. And I'm only doing that to protect my pads. I want to get as much use out of them as I possibly can. So much for those. I like to use embroidery hoops, different size embroidery hoops. I generally use linen. I generally do embroidery hoops with linen. I love working on linen. This guy doesn't fit on here, but it is linen, and it's an absolute pleasure to needle felt on linen. So I have different size embroidery hoops. They're not expensive. And then I leave the piece in there, and I don't have to purchase a frame. So that is one good thing. This is just a little tray that something came in at Christmas time, and I got a couple of these. So I took a piece of actual wool felt, needle felted on it, cut it to fit, laid it in there, and then took it to my local Jeffrey Allen's, and they just put a piece of glass in the top of it. So it makes a really nice little serving tray with a needle felt picture in the bottom. I gifted my daughter that for her birthday. I also went to Jeffrey Allen's, and I had these frames made. I had 5 made that are 10 by 10. And these 10 by 10 canvases are very inexpensive. So it's easy to put your piece in here, and you have a frame, and they're just great. I love them. They are pricier than the hoops, but they also give a very nice finished feel, and you can put your piece of felt onto a canvas. I usually wrap it around, staple it on the back, and put it in the frame. They look like lovely art pieces. Another thing I have, this one is from Joann's. It's just a plank, really. 2 boards on the back, and it also looks really nice with just a canvas attached to it. I think I got 6 of these for $30. So you could paint them if you wanted to. You could paint the backs of these. There's just a lot of things you can do if you use your imagination. The last piece of framing I have are these, and they are merely the backs of pictures that someone took apart the picture, didn't like the picture anymore. And they happen to be just a little over 10 by 10. So if I want to use my piece that I do and just kind of leave it free form, I can attach it to one of these it's just a plain panel of pressed wood that came off of an old picture. I also do the 11 by 14 paintings, and those I put into a regular frame that I purchase. Okay, the next thing, I have quite a few things here to show you. The next thing are these cedar balls. I buy these at Amazon. They are great. They smell wonderful, like cedar. And I put a couple of these in the pockets of shoe holders, and then clear shoe holders, and then I put my yarn into those holders. I have one on the back of a closet door and one on the back of the main door to my craft room. When it comes to wet felting, I bought this little top, has little holes in it, and it works as a sprinkler for wet felting. They're really cheap, and I do mean cheap. They're hardly worth the $3 they cost. But again, it works. So if it works, I like it. These are little ramekin cups. I like making wet felted flowers, and usually what I do is I turn them upside down when they're dry, give them a twist, and just keep them in here till I'm ready to use them. Then when I pull them out, they still have, you know, a lot of shape left to them and look great on my paintings. This and this are similar to the palm washboard. You may have seen the palm washboard. They have them on living felt. I would love to have one. They're wood, so they're natural and eco-friendly. They are for doing the scrubbing part of your wet felting. This one is a silicone massager, again from Amazon. By the way, I'm a senior and I get a lot of stuff delivered. So your fingers fit over that and you just can rub away and it works like a dream. Since then, I saw this one made out of pottery from the Woolery. I used to be a pottery teacher, so I really enjoy pottery. And this one, I swear, it's a dream. It's even better than the silicone one. I think it was $11 at the Woolery. Now you might want to consider that. Or you know, you can always use your hands. You don't have to buy equipment to do everything. I did so much bulk felting though that I think I can have that. The other thing I have purchased is this netting. I got it at Living Felt, and they are wonderful suppliers of wool. I think everyone will agree that they really will help you out. They'll answer questions. They're a great person to do business with. Unfortunately for me, this piece is not wide enough to do the larger pieces that I do. So instead, I use a nylon curtain. You may have seen that in another one of my videos. The nylon curtain works like a dream. It works just as well as anything else. I also purchased this wool for the backgrounds of the pre-felts that I make. It is, I believe it's Corriedale, and they call it roving. I get this on Amazon, and the reason I buy it is because I get 8 ounces for $14. I think that's a pretty good deal. This is Tussah silk. The only place I've been able to find it, I better look here, is Serafina. If you've looked around, you've heard of Serafina. I think they have the nicest kits and patterns for 3D felting. I'm not a 3D felter, I'm a 2D felter, but they do have beautiful kits. This is honey, the color is honey. It is the softest, loveliest roving, and it works beautifully in wet felting as well. I think that this much was $5. The other thing I use a lot of is bamboo. Bamboo is hard to find, but it is so effective in your pieces. It adds texture and just a little bit of kind of shine and gloss. If you get a chance, you might want to try it. This is Heidi Feathers, another regular supplier. I get my wool, I prefer Corriedale, and I get my wool from Weir Crafts. They're in Washington. They have all the colors of Corriedale that I want. They're consistently the same color, so if I need more of a color, I know that I'm going to get a good match from there. And it is Corriedale roving. I also get a lot, I have many different colors of these. This again is from Living Felt. They are combinations of roving and silk. They call them their silk blends. I have the blue, the red, the yellows, the green. They're lovely to work with and absolutely beautiful in wet felted backgrounds. The one thing is, when you buy from a company such as Serafina or Living Felt, you will pay postage. And postage can be kind of pricey. Oh, here's one of the silk blends of the kind of reds and pinks. This is called Malag Brio. And I really, really like these pieces. They're very soft. They're blends of different kinds of fibers, and the colors are just glorious. These come from Paradise Fibers. I have this one that I like to use for tree trunks. It looks very realistic. You know, trees and items aren't made of all one color. So when you can get these really nice blends, they're really beautiful to work with. This one is another blend of that type, same company, and this is what I use for leaves. You just get so much more life out of your paintings when you have these beautiful blends. This is a pre-felt. It's one that I made. I have not finished it yet, but this is what we're talking about when we talk about pre-felt. Most people like to do their needle felting on pre-felts, and you can buy the pre-felts from almost all the same companies that are all, they don't have color on them, but you can buy them in a solid color, and on that you can do your needle felting. I'd just like to point out that a pre-felt you can use to needle felt on. You can use linen, you can use burlap, you can use an old wool sweater that you've washed in hot water. There are many, many different fibers. I once bought 15 linen napkins and used those in an embroidery hoop, and they were lovely, very effective. The difference between roving and pre-felt is that the roving comes like this. It's all kind of wound up. It's pulled off of a spool. This is where they talk about the microfibers and how long they are and what have you. But it's all pretty much the same. You will find brands that you like better. You will find techniques that you like better. I'm absolutely enthused about needle felting. I don't ever plan to stop, and I think it's worth every penny I've ever spent on it. I really hope this helped you in some way, or made at least one thing more clear to you that you weren't quite sure about, and I really hope you have an absolutely wonderful day. Thank you so much. I hope you really enjoyed this video.